welcome back to Carly's Creations. I'm Carly, and I had a request from one of you to show you how I create my labels to put on the bottom of my cups. What I do is I put them on sticker paper, and then I make sure I seal them really well, and that's how I apply them to the bottom. So what I have here is I've just opened up my Silhouette Studio, and I have my logo here, which I did create on a completely different program. Oh boy, sorry, my camera's tweaking out. There we go. Okay. It's having a hard time focusing. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I did create my logo on another website, which I will attempt to find again. I did it a while ago and link down below for you if it's something you want to do. You can start on Pinterest. You can look for websites to create logos. You can Google. If you have a friend, I've had friends help me before. There's endless options as far as creating the initial logo. So I created it, I put it in my studio, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create stickers. So I'm going to move the label to the side a little bit here. We're going to shrink that down because obviously we don't need that big of a label. What we're going to do is I have the size paper here. It's going to be 8.5 by 11 in size is my sticker paper. And you can set your page settings at the very top over here. You'll see a bunch of settings along the sidebar here. It's going to be the very top one. It looks like a piece of paper. You'll click on that, and then from here you can see cutting mat size, media size. You can do custom measurements right in here. You can change the orientation of your paper by one or the other. I'm going to do it this way, so we're going to leave it there. And then as far as media size, I just have it letter size, the 8.5 by 11. Okay. The next step we're going to do is we're going to put on our margins. So you see these 3 squares right at the top. You're going to click the one on the far right where it says registration marks. And then you'll see an option on or off. Right now they're off. We're going to want those on. Okay, once you click those on, you will see these little, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. There we go. You'll see the little lines right here, the little square, and then the one down here. So what this is doing for your sheet is it's going to tell your Cameo where to cut. So when you load your paper into your Cameo, the Cameo is going to read these registration marks, so it cuts in the exact spot that you want them in. Okay. So our next step, we're going to shrink this down a little bit. For the bottom of my cups, I usually do about a 1.5 to 1.5 size. It's not exact. That's kind of just ballpark size-wise, and that's usually what fits well on the bottom of my tumblers. That will fit on the 10, 20, and 30 ounce ones that I do. So you can, just adjust it to whatever size you need. You'll see this little arrow. You can pull in or shrink down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and shrink this down. All right, now the next step, and this is what took me a while to figure out, is how in the world do I get this to cut out like a sticker, like a circle sticker. Now what I could do is I could trace the outline, and it would trace the outline of the sticker. However, it's going to trace, I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see it better. It's going to trace, see all these little leaves right here? All throughout in here, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but because the labels are so small, when I go to pull the sticker off, a lot of these will come off and they'll get broken off, which I don't want. Okay, so we're going to go and shrink that back down. Okay, I'm going to move it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a circle around our logo here. And you'll see this other toolbar on the left hand side. All these little guys right here. We're going to come all the way up. And it'll look like a rectangle, and then these little shapes will pop up. So depending on the shape that you're going for, if you're wanting to make a rectangle, you would draw a rectangle, rounded, whatever shape. So we're going to do a circular one. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And then you'll see the little cross that came across my cursor. So I'm going to click and pull down, and you'll see that circle starting to shape, and just kind of get it to where it's rounded enough. All right. So that created a circle around. So what I do from here is I just click the little A like I'm going to type. Otherwise, if you click off the screen when you still have that circle, it's going to create another circle. So we don't necessarily want to do that. But what we can do from here is you can see it changes to a hand. We can move that circle around now. Okay? So I'm going to get that just right about there. So you can kind of see, let me zoom in for you, how that circle went right around my logo. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my page up with all of these logos and circles, and I have one already made up to speed up time-wise, and then we'll go to the next step. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is if you want to copy this exact size and logo to make sure they're all the exact same size, you're going to right-click, and you're going to scroll down, see where it says duplicate. Go ahead and click that. Voila. You have another one. I'm so sorry about my camera, you guys. Let me zoom back out here. And my phone decided not to film anymore. So you'll just hit duplicate. Again, right click, duplicate, and you'll just make as many as that you need. Okay? So I'm going to show you, this is the one that I already have set up. And so once I have it set up, I do save it in my files in my Cameo. So I'm not obviously having to go back and recreate the whole thing and resize everything and redo the circles. This is just a much faster process for me. So what I do from here is you have all the little logos right here. I'm just going to click and drag and place them right into the circle here. Just kind of evenly throughout the circle. Okay. And I will go ahead and do this to all of them. Okay, just like that. All right, I'm going to finish this and we'll be right back. All right, so we have all of the logos placed within the circles. So now our next step is going to be to print this. And I use, let me back that out a little bit. This is the sticker paper that I use. I do get it off of Amazon, and I will link it down in the description below for you. It works well for me. I've created these logos. I create my logos to go on my soap bars and whatever other stickers I can think of. So I will definitely link this below for you. We're going to pull a sheet out, and depending on your printer, obviously will depend on the way that you place your paper in there. I place mine face up, and that's how my printer works. This is what the paper will look like. It's obviously plain white. Flip on the other side, and you can see, I don't know if you can see them on camera, there's lines in the back here. That will be the back of your paper. Okay, so the white is the very front. So we're going to go ahead and load that into the printer. All right, my paper is loaded in. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and print. And if you haven't printed from your Cameo program, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to go up to File, which is in the very upper left-hand corner. Go ahead and click on File. Come down to Print. Click. Now, this may be different for your computer. We all have different computers. We all have different printers. So I'm just going to show you how I do it on mine. I'm sure it will be similar, generally speaking, for everyone, but it may be different from printer to printer. I'm going to click on Preferences, and from here I always preview before printing because I've learned the hard way. Sometimes if I don't, it'll print out all wonky, and we don't want that. I am going to click Photo Printing. I'm going to make sure my paper size is 8.5 by 11, which, yep, there we go. Okay, media type. For stickers, I'm going to do photo paper, and I'm going to do matte photo paper. And then print quality, I set to high. Okay? So once you have those settings, go ahead and click OK and print. This would help turn the printer on, huh? Hold on. Okay, printer was in sleeper mode. Let's try that again. Print. It will load from here. And so because I chose to preview, it's going to show me the preview. You want to make sure these registration marks are printed on your sheet. If they're not, your Cameo won't cut correctly, excuse me. Okay, we're gonna hit start printing. Okay, so while that's printing, the next step what we're gonna do, and this is what took me forever to figure out, because you only want to cut around the circle part. And there was times where I would go ahead and hit send. And then you see these red lines right here, if you're familiar with the program. The red lines are showing you where it's going to cut. Now, I don't want to cut the inner part of the logo. I just wanted to cut the outside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to design and we're gonna take the picture logo out. And the quickest way, since I already have this set up, is I'm gonna go to the back button up here and I'm just gonna hit the back button. So we're gonna remove all of the image part of the logo out of the circles. Your sheet will have the registration marks, excuse me, the registration marks and the plain circles. Okay, so this is what we want it to look like before we cut. So the next step, what you would do is hit send. Now mine automatically switched the material to the sticker paper. If yours does not, pull down the drop menu and you would select your sticker paper from there. I think mine just automatically knows all of the different settings. So now we're gonna go ahead and load our sheet into our Cameo. Okay, so here's our sheet, all printed out, registration marks, and all I did was just apply that to the mat. We're gonna go ahead and load our mat into the machine. You wanna make sure these arrows right here, that you're lining your mat up right with the arrows. Go ahead and hit load. And now from our computer, we're just gonna hit send. You will notice the machine will read the registration marks. And then because we have it set on auto blade, the machine will automatically set the blade to the correct setting for the sticker paper. And it's just gonna cut right around the logo. Okay, sorry about that. So you can see just the Cameo, it's just cutting that circle right around the logo. And that's it. From there, we'll just take the paper off and you're good to go, and you just peel them off just like stickers. So fairly easy. With the sticker paper, you do want to remember to make sure that you seal it very well. Treat it like a water slide. I use the Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Clear, and I seal these usually at least 3 times to get a good seal. If you do not seal them and you put it under epoxy, your epoxy will leak through and bleed through your sticker. So that's something you definitely don't want. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know below, and we will get started on our next tutorial. Have a great day, everyone.